Will officially begin the regular meeting, council member. And I know that Mara is printing some information for council member Kennedy. So I, on behalf of Mara, will do a roll call. But saying that, let's officially open.
Well, we need it recorded too, right?
Oh, that's correct. Do you know how to use the recorder, Mr. Kennedy? All right, we're in a holding
I'm the chair
pattern
of
for
technology.
about
I can figure
35
this out.
seconds. I'm sure.
Where's the technology committee guy?
Technology committee.
Come on, get technical.
I think we just press the record.
I'm sure it's very simple.
Press record button.
It's been recording for 23 minutes and
Uh-oh,
21
look
seconds.
out. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone. Tonight's a special event because we have some special people with us. So we're going to open up the meeting. We'll take a roll call. Councilmember Gully.
Here.
Councilmember Parator.
Here.
Councilmember Cummings.
Here.
Councilmember December.
Present.
Councilmember Kennedy.
Present.
Council President Mantello's here. Before we go into the pledge, I'll allow Mara to get situated. We have been recording continuously.
No, I stopped and started. You're
Oh, okay, cool. Thank
You're
you.
good, thank you.
I'd like to welcome the Boy Scouts of America, Troop 502. And Eric, if you could introduce your folks, and I would be honored to have your folks say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we turn that mic on maybe at the bottom? It's right at the bottom. Okay, very good. Take it away. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to
To
the
the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank Troop 502, and if you could please introduce yourself to the folks. Lead it on, please.
I'm Eric Manny.
You could just turn and to
Alright.
the public.
Oh,
Go
please.
ahead, guys.
I'm Ian Anderson, the senior patrol leader of Troop 502.
I'm Connor Hurley.
I'm William Cole.
I'm Brian Maney.
Kyle Manning.
I'm Jonathan Weatherly. I'm Jaden Schreier. I'm Alex Weatherly. I'm Matt Bullock. I'm Weatherly. I'm Captain Warren. I'm Daniel Wiltshire.
I'm Eric Dagnall.
Leaders? Eric.
Maney. Mark Dagnall, Scoutmaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, Troop 502. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. Eric, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so. I hope it's okay. Some folks said it would be okay to maybe extend this to 2.5 hours. Is that all right? No, I want to welcome everyone and somebody standing there? That means to sit. Okay. Good evening, fellow city council colleagues. I believe our Rensselaer County Executive is here, Steve McLaughlin. Thank you for joining us. Mayor Madden, City Clerk Drogan, department heads, city engineers, or city employees, family, friends, and most importantly, Troy residents. Oh, please stay. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight to hear the annual City Council President's Legislative Address. Also, I'd like to thank all the people joining us at home on our YouTube channel. In the upcoming days, the text of this address will also be posted online. I'm honored and grateful to be your council president, and I promise to continue my commitment to being Troy's legislative watchdog, striving to make our great city the very best we all know it can be. I've lived my life here in this city. I love this city. And every day, I'm reminded of what a tremendous community we are privileged to call home. And while we have challenges, I can't imagine calling anywhere else home. And I know our best days are yet to come. Because what makes our city great are the people. Our family, our friends, our neighbors, our neighborhoods. They're all unique, all special, and that makes this city so strong. And if we can look at each other and respect each other as neighbors rather than political opponents and adversaries, we'll see Troy become one Troy. With increased revitalization in our neighborhoods and spread that downtown momentum into South Troy, the Burg, North Central, the East Side, and Sickaway. In the coming year, I will continue working hard to ease the burden of taxes on the taxpayers and residents of our city. As I've stated many times, while the administration states finances are better, much of that burden has been shifted to the taxpayers through taxes and fees. One example is the garbage fee. As many folks know, I oppose this fee, as it's just another tax. The fee was set to expire back in December 2018. It was not only made permanent, it was increased. I want to thank our Solid Waste Advisory Committee for their hard work on a new plan. And I look forward to the administration to implement the new solid waste plan and recycling plan that we have yet to see. I and Councilmember Gully will be introducing a ballot referendum that would amend the charter so voters can say yes or no to continuing the garbage fee in 2020. To keep a lid on new taxes and fees, we need to be creative. We should always be working to advance smarter, more efficient government. That's why the City County Shared Services Working Group needs to be reinvigorated. And I call for our mayor and the county exec to reinvigorate this working group. I continue to believe there are several areas the city can share and consolidate services to save taxpayer dollars. We all know public safety for our residents is critical. It's one of the most important things, if not the most important thing we do. As the original sponsor of our city-run ambulance service, I'll continue to support the necessary funding for training and equipment for our police officers and firefighters. In fact, it's come to my attention that many of our city-run streetlight cameras in our neighborhoods and downtown have malfunctioned on numerous occasions. Just this past week, a stabbing occurred on Congress and 3rd, and the surveillance cameras were not functioning properly. I'm requesting Councilmember December, Chair of the Public Safety Committee, and committee members to work with myself, the mayor, and the police department to get these cameras properly working. We must immediately correct this problem and have 100% fully functioning cameras with an ongoing maintenance plan. Over the past 3 years, I've proposed and supported body cams for our police officers. I'm proud of the council's partnership with the administration, and I'm pleased that today we have the necessary funding to provide body cams for our officers. Our police should be outfitted with body cams by the end of 2019. The new proposed gun buyback program. It's a great step forward, and I look forward to working with the mayor and the chief to get dangerous guns off our streets. The best way to make all our neighborhoods safer is through more community policing, which is why I've supported expanding the Park Walk and Talk program. It's been a success downtown. I look forward to implementing it throughout the entire city. With our soon-to-be, in fact, officially tomorrow, new Fire Chief Eric McMahon, it also presents an opportunity for us, for the city, to explore utilizing our firefighters to tackle code enforcement issues plaguing certain neighborhoods. To advance initiatives like these and to keep our community safe, I continue to strongly support full staffing for our police and fire departments. But it's also important that our first responders respect the diversity here in our city. As our only woman firefighter has recently retired, I've asked Chief McMahon to enhance the department's outreach, to encourage the recruitment of more minority and women candidate firefighters. And I'm pleased to report that that outreach has actually just begun. This past week, the fire department partnered with the Troy African American Pastoral Alliance to recruit candidates at HVCC. Finally, there's been an aggressive and an energetic push to designate Troy as a sanctuary city. This is an emotional issue for many residents. And as I proposed back in December, I believe organized, not selected neighborhood meetings to listen to what all the residents have to say still needs to happen. While I'm opposed to this initiative, I'm one vote. And ultimately, the full council and the mayor will have the final say on this issue. As we move forward into 2019, it's essential the city focuses more on improving the quality of life, work to make our neighborhoods safer and cleaner, and make the smart investments in infrastructure for the future of our city. The City Council's Neighborhood Improvement Program, also known as NIP, with the assistance of our Capital Resource Commission, is one example the City Council partners with volunteer groups to bring pride to our city gateways, our pocket parks, and monuments. Project examples range from fire hydrant painting on the east side to new kiosks for our Freer Park Conservancy Trail to the 9/11 Memorial in the Berg to a really cool green infrastructure sidewalk project in South Troy. Community gardens, handicap swings. While the maximum dollar of these projects are only up to $1,000, this program provides huge leverage toward advancing community enhancement projects throughout all of our neighborhoods. I look forward to continuing to work with Council Members Gully and Council Member Kennedy, moving this valuable program forward over the next several months. A special thank you goes out to our neighborhood organizations and all the volunteers who are so passionate and so dedicated to restoring pride in our neighborhoods. You rock. Another awesome group of volunteers who I sincerely want to thank for their commitment, their hard work, are the City Council's Dog Park Committee members. Committee members have dedicated countless hours to recommend a specific location for the city's first official dog park and 2 or more subsequent locations. Outside of the obvious social and health benefits for dogs and their owners, dog parks create opportunities for owners to connect and build community beyond that park. Stay tuned, folks, as the final report is nearly complete. Our water is a jewel, a precious resource. We must continue to maintain the infrastructure to our water system to provide safe drinking water to our residents and surrounding communities, and look to the future to expand to other communities such as Hoosick Falls, Petersburg, and Spodak. Last year, I supported a $40 million upgrade to our water transmission system, which is presently underway. Speaking of water, we still face issues when it comes to our city pools. Recently, the City Council passed the necessary funding to get both pools open. However, in 2019, the South Troy pool is scheduled to open, which an RFP actually went out today for bids. Unfortunately, Knickerbocker was not included. To me, it's simply not fair to the residents of the Burg. I'm calling on the mayor and the city council to work together to take the necessary steps to ensure that our youth in the Burg have access to a pool this summer. Over the last couple of years, I've supported funding for major infrastructure projects, such as the water transmission line, the seawall, the South Troy Industrial Roadway, Ingalls Ave Boat Launch, water towers, Freer Park Golf Course, and so many other projects. But sadly, our streets are in desperate need of a major capital infrastructure plan ranging from street paving to fixing potholes. I propose a 5-year capital street paving plan. It's time we get back to basics. This leads me to the maintenance of our city assets. I'm calling for an asset management plan for our city-owned buildings, facilities, equipment, structures, so we can better capital infrastructure maintenance, short-term and long-term planning. To help fund some of our capital needs, it's time to explore some more public-private partnerships. I propose and call again for selling naming rights to our pools and the Nick Ice Rink and dedicate these funds to the maintenance of these facilities. In addition, I'm renewing my call for establishing a permanent home for Troy City Hall. We're currently paying right now, folks, $362,000 annually for a leased space floor. It's time, once again, the people of Troy can celebrate our heritage and our community pride and have our own city hall. As we're the proud home of Uncle Sam, I bet some folks weren't even aware that Uncle Sam's home was on Ferry Street. Let's celebrate our history by establishing an Uncle Sam Park at this site. And we must finally move forward on One Monument Square. As you all know, after several RFPs and some charrettes, there continues to be a hole in the ground on our treasured waterfront. Whether it becomes a park or multi-use development, it's an embarrassment. It's an eyesore that needs to be resolved once and for all. It's also time we address another embarrassment. According to a recent independent audit, the city lost $1,375,000 each year due to pilot agreements. While the IDA controls the pilot agreements, I'm proposing that the City Council, as the watchdog, that the IDA chair meet with the City Council Finance Committee quarterly to update the council on all pilot agreements and property agreements. One project near and dear to my heart is our city's Think Differently initiative. A couple of years ago, I, along with the City Council, passed the Think Differently initiative. It's an effort for more inclusion and accessibility for our developmentally disabled and special needs community. It's been a challenge to move this effort and our working groups initiatives forward since Hans from Rensselaer County ARC retired. However, I'm very proud of our first handicap swing, and more have been installed since then. And the city's appointment of an ADA coordinator. The ADA coordinator is undertaking a self-evaluation of city programs, activities, services, reviewing policies and practices which govern them to identify issues which affect individuals with disabilities. Following the completion of the self-assessment, the City of Troy will develop a transition plan to remove identified physical barriers which limit access by members of the disability community to programs or activities in the City of Troy. I look forward to working with the mayor and the ADA coordinator on this project. Additionally, let me just touch upon a few other important issues that I feel need to be talked about. We need more open space and a green, walkable community here in our city. As the prior director of the Hudson River Valley Greenway and the New York State Canal Corporation, someone that has worked with hundreds of communities across our state on the New York State Empire Trail, I'm thrilled to see our citywide land and water trail system move forward. The recent addition of a 3.1-mile extension, which was added from Congress Street to Middleburg, is one of many trail connections being developed throughout our city. Ultimately, we'll have an end-to-end trail from South Troy to Lansingburg connecting our communities. We all know trails are a great recreational benefit and quality of life asset, but they are also an economic development boost to our neighborhoods. The council also worked closely with the administration on our city's recent designation as a green energy community. This will implement LED lighting, which will benefit our city both financially and environmentally. More green space in our neighborhoods and ridding tree invasive species throughout a recent state grant that we've been able to achieve. I also look forward to working with Councilmember Kennedy on a climate smart community designation for our city, which is an extension of the green energy community status and will open up our city to additional grants. We need to enact reforms to ensure accountability, transparency, and bring our government closer to the people. For additional accountability, Councilmember Gully and I will also be proposing legislation whereby before any reverters are released for city surplus property, the City Council must approve after the mayor. Additionally, no city employee involved with the assessment or code compliance, whether a director or through supervisor, shall be allowed to bid on city surplus property. Lastly, I'm proposing Councilmember Parator, Chair of the City Council Law Committee, and Law Committee members review the current practice of selling city surplus property based on best usage versus the highest bidder. The City Council and City Clerk, Mara Drogan, continue to be the most transparent City Council and City Clerk in the Capital Region. Hats off, Mara. Stepping up our presence on social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, live YouTube, of all council meetings, committee meetings, public hearings, you name it. So continuing to bring government to the people, working with Councilmember Cummings. Funding has been secured and supported for an electronic 311 system, which will allow residents who have concerns about crime, potholes, garbage, trash collection, code, or quality of life to interface through an interactive map. Stay tuned. Lastly, and this is for public disclosure, we all know that the issue of legalization of cannabis is in a very intense discussion on the state level. I've been contacted by a private sector cannabis industry who would like to actually invest here in the city. I'd like to call upon the mayor, myself, and the city council to conduct public meetings all throughout our city to find out if this is something the city is interested, should it progress on the state level. In closing, the richest asset our city has is you. It's us. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And working together, we can be the greatest city in our state, if not the nation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. All right. Questions? No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll start the council meeting and get to our good news portion. I know we have some bowlers back there where their arms are getting restless. Oh, jeez.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I don't want to run over the corners.
No. You got me back there?
Got it.
5 is very good when it comes to potholes. I can tell you, District 3, it's a war zone. District
Yeah, but
1
this
is
is
a
not a
war
pothole.
zone. District 2 is a war zone. So
And this is
saying
not a
that,
pothole discussion.
my point here is, Steve, that over the last 3 weeks, yeah, things have changed a bit. So saying that, this is a discussion at the council, and we truly appreciate your input, and we're just discussing an issue here.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Further discussion. Mara, I'm going to call for a slow roll.
Councilmember Gully.
No.
Councilmember Parator.
Yes.
Councilmember Cummings.
Yes.
Councilmember December.
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy.
Yes.
Council President Mantello.
Before I go very quickly, you know how I feel. And while zoning and planning, very important, I believe we have a very capable planning commissioner and his staff to begin the efforts on this particular function. And quite frankly, I'm kind of shocked that I'm hearing that, you know, our city, we're doing great regarding potholes, that our police, I did have a great conversation via email with the chief, and they are working hard for the surveillance. And I guess what kind of surprised me is that, you know, we're kind of saying, well, we don't really need the 100 or TRF. Why can't we ask TRF for the $100,000? Why are we not going to TRF regarding these discretionary funds to get this $100,000? Regarding the state grant, you know, the statement that we're going to lose it, we're not going to lose it. We have a grant from the South Troy Industrial Roadway from 10 years ago that we've reinvigorated many times, saying that, as I stated, I'm not opposed to zoning, to planning. Yes, moving the city forward, it's important. But saying that right now, that 100K certainly could have gone toward much more core mission, certainly toward public safety, and I consider our streets public safety. I vote no.
Resolution 15 passes 4 ayes, 2 noes.
Okay, resolution 17.
Resolution in support of the City of Troy's application for a grant, to address zombie and vacant properties. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Parator. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember December, just for folks' awareness, did pass zone planning and finance this evening. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 17 passes 6 ayes, 0 noes.
Resolution 18.
Resolution 18, resolution appointing Commissioner of Deeds for the City of Troy, Council President Mantello. This needs to be added by unanimous consent, please.
Yep, do I have a motion to add by unanimous consent?
So moved.
Councilmember Parator, do I have a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so resolution 18 is added. I'm going to make a motion to amend resolution 18 to add Catherine Vetter, David Chaikin, Thomas Hottie, Elizabeth Flutz, and Adam Sanzone. On that motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Parator. On the amendment, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 18. On the amended resolution, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Parator. Do I have a second? Second, Councilmember Cummings. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 18 passes 6 ayes, 0 noes.
All right. Resolution 19.
Resolution recognizing March of 2019 as Women's History Month in the City of Troy. Council President Mantello, Council Members December and Parator.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Parator. Do I have a second? Second, Councilmember December. I'm going to ask for an amendment again. Councilmember December forwarded. We are going to add fellow co-workers after Kate Mullaney. So it's going to read Kate Mullaney, an Irish immigrant in February of 1864 at age 25, organized along with her fellow workers, the first women's labor union in the country, the Collar Laundry Union, to improve working conditions and wages through, we're going to add, through successful direct actions. On that motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember December and Councilmember Parator. On the amendment, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? On the amended resolution, Resolution 19, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember December. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Gully. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 19 passes 6 ayes, 0 noes.
All right. Resolution 20.
Resolution recognizing March of 2019 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month in the city of Troy. Council President Mantello.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Parator. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, we needed to vote on
Oh,
unanimous
this is on the
consent.
unanimous consent to add. So we have a motion, if it's okay, Councilmember Parator, do I have a second to add?
Second.
Second, Councilmember December, to add the resolution, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the resolution is added. 6-0. On resolution 20, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Gully, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember December. On the discussion, just please, I'd like to read this very quickly. It's a resolution recognizing March as Developmental Disabilities thank you. On my iPhone, it's much smaller. Disabilities Awareness Month in the city of Troy. Whereas individuals with developmental disabilities, their families, friends, neighbors, and co-workers encourage everyone to focus on the abilities of all people. And whereas the City Council continues to be committed to the Think Differently initiative to encourage more inclusiveness and accessibility for the developmental disabilities and special needs community. And whereas the most effective way to increase this awareness is through everyone's active participation in community activities and openness to learn and acknowledge each individual's contributions. And whereas opportunities for citizens with developmental disabilities to function as independently and productively as possible must be fostered in our community. And whereas we encourage all citizens to support opportunities for individuals with developmental disabilities in our community that include full access to education, housing, employment, and recreational activities. And whereas communities are stronger when everyone participates, please take time to get to know someone with a disability and recognize that a person with a developmental disability can do like you. Now therefore be it resolved that Detroit City Council hereby designates and proclaims March 2019 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 20 passes 6 ayes, 0 noes.
Resolution 21.
Resolution appointing Adam Sanzone, Assistant to the City Clerk. Councilmember Cummings.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Parator. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember December. Discussion, it did pass the finance meeting. I do know Councilmember Kennedy, a couple questions. Did you receive the resumes and, anything you feel we should be enlightened on?
Everything's fine.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 21 passes 6 ayes, 0 noes.
All right, we'll move right into the final public forum. I would ask anyone that would like to address the city council, and I would ask Councilmember Gully to please turn the air conditioning on in here. It is very hot. Can you see what temperature we're on, please? Please state your name and address, and this is to address the council. Please, thank
Yes.
you, Messiah.
Messiah again. I'm here. I want to make it clear that we speak about video footage, and we want to get the cameras working properly. There was video footage that supported Edson Thevenin, but it was never introduced to the grand jury. So now if we get these body cameras and pretty much they're a one-sided camera and people turn a blind eye to what they see, what good would the cameras be? And because there was footage that should have been introduced to the grand jury. There was video footage that was never introduced to the grand jury. And again, a man was pretty much let go with committing the murder, and others covered it up. Others covered it up. So they have a hand in that murder. My nephew was shot by police. He was unarmed. The police was let off. They said he was in fear of his life. And that's all needs to be stated when confronting a black man, I guess, is that you feel like you're in fear of your life and you have a right to kill them. So instead of public lynchings, we have public shootings. Now, pertaining to the potholes in District 2, I think we have the most potholes. Don't fill them. Build a community center. Leave the potholes. That's what I say. Leave the potholes. Let's get us a community center so we can begin to change the minds and the hearts of our children. And it starts with education. There was just more or less a study done. And it said that $23 billion is given to predominantly white schools compared to the $1 billion that's given to predominantly black schools. Again, you expect more, but you give less. I ask you again, I appeal to you. Please have compassion for our babies. We love them the same. We love them like you love your babies. Have some compassion for our babies. Put something in North Central other than police. Now, I personally called the police on 2/24/2019. I called them. I called 911. I had an emergency. 2 young people were having a confrontation, and I called the police to assist me in dealing with the situation. What I got was an officer to come and tell me, Messiah, why did you call us? You hate police. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, I hate improper policing, not police. But you make my case for me. He then tried to goad me into a confrontation with him instead of dealing with the issue that I called him for. And I'm stating this today because I plan on filing a complaint. I want everyone here to know it. It happened 2/24 at or around 1:30. The officer had nothing on to identify himself. I later spoke to an officer that I have dialect with and said, well, are all officers running around with no badge, no number, no name, nothing? He says, oh, this is our old gear. So in his defense, none of us has nothing stating who we are. But if you ask him, they're supposed to tell you. I asked the officer, he told me simply, why did I call him when I didn't like police? So I'm gonna file a complaint. I don't want him policing my neighborhood. I don't want him around me or my children. Period.
Thank you, Messiah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address the city council? Hi, Frank.
Hi, I'm glad you remember my name.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, I'm just a little hoarse here. Again, I'm Frank Leon Maben III. I am a resident of Troy for 50 plus years. I live at 250 9th Street. We own that property. We own a few other properties. Here are my concerns. I may jump around a little bit because I just have it here. I was going through it, so bear with me just a second. Okay. Regarding the this new garbage fee that's going for people that own properties. I have a lot of elder people in the North Central community. You'll hear me say that a lot. District 2, North Central community, District 2. This is where I am. This is the people that I meet. Again, from Hoosick all the way to 111th. I've dealt with plenty of residents there, no matter what color, okay? And here is some of their concerns, all right? The garbage thing. If you own property, right? And then that garbage thing goes up and it goes up per unit. Okay, well, they've had no problem paying for it. However, the problem comes if you're charging more for the garbage and the garbage collection. However, the service has not enhanced. So how, in fact, has the fee enhanced? If you're going to enhance the fee, we would basically assume you're going to enhance the service. Hasn't happened. There are reasons for that. We're not ignorant to a few things. Let me just state clearly that ignorance is not a bad thing, unless you're just deliberately ignorant, right? But ignorance is not a bad thing. It just means you don't know. So a lot of people there, they don't know. They don't understand why, code enforcement or whoever is supposed to do what they need to do to make sure that this garbage is not out there, and it's out there. All right? We're paying more. We're giving it to you. Show us how you're going to enhance the service, right? Okay. It all comes to accountability, right? So we go from resident, and then we go from residents, that's the people, and then the people to the landlord, they're in, unless you own. Most are in, right? And then that landlord has to be held accountable by who? Code enforcement. So that's what we're asking. We're asking just, okay, run the chain of command. Hold people accountable. Because when you do that, you oftentimes, more times than not, you'll get the results. Okay, so what we're saying is we got landlords that live in Florida, but they own 7 properties on 9th Street. Really? They're not here. Who's holding them accountable? Should we scream at code enforcement? Who are we going to do? We watch people from the 3rd floor window throw garbage out and try to make it meet their can at the bottom. What is going on? No, unacceptable, right? Obnoxious. There are other words that we can use, but we want to do that, okay? I'm not better than anyone, all right? Please don't be fooled by me. I need help too. However, I seek to have it. I'll make a difference any way that I can, especially for my community, especially for District 2. Okay. We talked about the cameras. First and foremost, I want to say, we all know if the cameras were working, it'd make it that much easier. Let's think about Troy Police just for a second, if we would, okay? If these police officers had these cameras been working, right? These are officers. It'd make their job that much easier, okay? So with the cameras, right, you have a much more explosive means to handle this situation. These police officers have families too. They need to go home to their family. Let's make them safe. All right. So again, it's accountability. It's prevention. These things prevent other things from happening. When these alleged criminals do these things and they realize that those cameras are on, I'm telling you, it'll take away. They'll say, oh, no. But if they start believing those cameras don't even work, then they going to go to work. Right? So let's think again for the officers. Let's think about their family. They're the ones that protect us. They're the ones when something does happen, right? Because it could, and it does. They're the ones you're going to call. Right? So they got families. So we can make it a little easier on them and a little easier on their family where they can go home to, so they can make it that much better for us, then why not? Let's do that. Why not? Let's come on, bring the cameras. Bring whatever support they need to get it done. If they're wrong, they're wrong. Let's get them. If they're right, they ain't got nothing to worry about. All right? This camera thing is very, right? It's simple. Let's not make it complicated. All right? Let's not. All right? It's very simple thing. People, they try to complicate things. Don't do that. Please. We talked about, in brief, the potholes, the things that are happening, again, District 2, North Central. Yeah, but I've been in constant communication with Nick Laviano, I hope I'm saying his name right, of the PBA, the president of PBA, okay, Chief Owens, the new fire chief, Mr. McMahon. I haven't had the privilege of meeting with him, but I'm sure we can. I speak with people with CEO Trip, with Unity House, with One Troy. I speak to city council members. We do this often. Understaffed, there's people that, there's reasons why those holes are still there, believe it or not. Are they justifiable? Well, but here's the thing. We're asking for like simple solutions, like with PBA. Hey, okay, you can't fill the holes right away. Here's the thing. You're coming, let's just say you're coming right into the North Central area. So you're jumping off the Hoosick Street Bridge, that Bennington exit. You're coming off that exit, you want to get home. You've been on that bridge, you've been through all kind of traffic, you're trying to get there, and you finally get to that spot, and now you get off that bridge, and now the only outlet you got to go north is to go through 9th Street, because you can't go through 8th Street, it's a one way. You can't go through 10th Street, one way. What's your only way? 9th Street. So you're desperate. So you're coming off that bridge, and you want to get home, and there's your exit, 9th Street, and you're zooming off that bridge to get across 9th Street. And there are kids getting hit, and there are potholes, and there are all kinds of things. Now, here's the thing. Potholes ain't the problem, right? Speed is. Because if you cruise through a pothole, what's going to happen? I ask you. But if you through the pothole, there goes your wheel alignment. There's where the kids hit. There's where the accident is. This is where it all begins, right? We got to get you to slow down. Slow down. Okay, so we asked Troy, okay, you know what? Can't fill the potholes. Here's what we need you to do. Put a police car right there. You're understaffed. You don't even got to put nobody in it. Just put a police car right there at that corner. And then put another police car at the other corner. In fact, we're asking, don't even put anyone in them. You know why? Because now, not only do they see the police car, but they don't see the police. So guess what? But they're going to keep that speed down because they want to know where they are.
Hey, Frank,
They're looking for them.
I'm just going to.
Okay, I'll move forward. Thank you.
You're
Thank
doing good.
Okay. All right. I'll try to. Okay. Time constraints. But okay, everybody understands what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is what we're asking. We understand what we're up against. This is what we're asking. Okay. We're asking for the simple solutions. We're not asking for anything really complicated. There's simple solutions. It can happen.
Yeah.
It should happen. And if not, tell me again, or tell us. Tell the North Central community why not. Okay. The zoning thing, I'm not going to, we touched that, all right, we're not going to belabor it, everyone knows. The ordinances, we know, we are backed, okay? This North Central community is backed. I am backed by the New Jerusalem Church, which has the Bishop, Dr. Reverend Macklin, who is the president of the African American Pastors Association. So everyone is in cahoots, especially when we're talking of people of color. But just remember, it's not a race thing here. It's not a black or white thing. It's a wrong or right thing. Okay, we have the support of the people. And let's just keep it simple.
Thank you.
All right, just in closing,
Yes.
let's just move forward. All right, and not more of the same. That's all. We're not gonna settle. I guarantee you, for more of the same.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Awesome, Frank. Thank you. Thank you, Frank.
Frank kind of sounds like me when I say I'm closing, but I do that several times. But again, I come to say I am Bishop Dr. Macklin, president of Troy African American Pastors Alliance and pastor of New Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church. I want to impart some information to you, or maybe perhaps clarify something. The Alliance meets with the mayor monthly. We also meet with the police chief monthly. Actually, I meet with the police chief weekly. And we are trying to do some things that will help Troy be a better place to work, live, and recreate. We sponsored the gun buyback program. We have instituted some programs to help minority hiring. We spearheaded the police body camera acquisitions. We were part of that also. And some of this was under Elder Clark, the late Elder Clark. I'm also want to sponsor a gang summit. I met with the county DA today, and she is for it. We're also looking at WMBE participation on contracts that the city has, minority women business enterprise. We are looking at having a law enforcement day that would include recruitment day. That would include the sheriff's department, city police, FBI, and the state police, and the fire department. I've talked to all of those agencies, and most of them are on board, just a matter of money. We also have a program that the DA said she would help sponsor, clearing of low-level warrants. There's a backlog in low-level warrants in the city. We want to have those clear it out so that young men and young women won't have to worry about them anymore, and they'll just exonerate them and move them out the way. We participated in, and I coordinated the fire department recruitment last week at Hudson Valley Community College. We're trying to get minority candidates. We got 18 candidates that we think that they will go ahead and take the exam. Now, the police department will be having an examination in September. We don't know the exact date yet, but we're working on recruitment for the police department. And we also have one recruit, shall I say, from Rochester, who is a minority. He just came on board last week. And then we are doing things that we hope that will help not only just our communities, but the city of Troy. And so the old saying is that we may have come over here on different ships, but we're all in the same boat now. And so if we want to tackle each other and do stuff that's crazy, then we're not going to make it. And so we are part of a team, as Mr. Gully said, and we want to make Troy the shining light on the hill of at least of the 3 capital district cities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Bishop.
I'll be brief.
No, take your time, Jessica.
Jessica Ashley, Lansingburg. I first want to say that I'm here because my sister did not come. My sister is Rosemary Coles, and she has an issue with the potholes. So, okay, I have to say this for her on her behalf. They are big and they are deep.
Yeah.
They are dangerous.
Yeah.
This is not a reflection of what council has been talking about in reference to zoning. Go forward with that. It's so important. But I had to say that on her behalf because she calls me and complains to me 7 a.m. Yeah. So I just want you to know it's because she's bugging me. The other thing is I'm grateful to hear about the cameras for the police. We know that one of the things that caused there to be such a movement towards that were all of the incidents of shootings and not able to verify what did actually take place prior to shootings. But I want to say it's critical that officers not have the liberty to turn those cameras on and off at their discretion. You wearing them, you keep them on. You keep them running so that whatever is going on, because one bad situation makes the whole police department look bad. And that is one of the problems, and that has to be corrected. It isn't fair to those individuals, men and women who have been on the police department and fought and stood on our behalf and defended the the community for years to be criticized and looked down on and not trusted because someone made a mistake. So again, I just would like to say that I believe council has the ability to make sure that that happens. So please, they need to keep the cameras on. One of the things that you see in some of these national issues are the shooting takes place and they decided to turn their cameras off, or their voice or the audio. Why now? Why did you turn it off? So there are so many questions that are, so that's one of the things I hope council will make sure is in place. And I want to say congratulations to all of you. It's late, but congratulations and God bless you.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, very kind. Well said.
Hi, Council. I'm Raquel Velio. I'm a resident of 4th Street here in Troy. I'm going to make this really short and sweet. I know some of you are getting tints because of the sanctuary shirt. Not about that. I'd like to commend, first of all, for the Developmental Disability Awareness Month. I work closely with disability and access issues. I'd like to commend the council for actually providing a lot of access and transparency about what's happening and streaming this live and everything. I'd like council to continue leading by example. Something that could have been done, for example, is actually hiring ASL interpreters to be able, for example, your state of the city discussion could have had an ASL interpreter that would have enabled further discussion for the deaf community. I think there are many ways that council can continue leading by example, and I'd be happy to engage with the council in some of these discussions. And just in general, considering the disability community of Troy, they are here. They unfortunately are often barred from entry at every single turn. So if we can ensure further integration, that would be incredible. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for what you do.
Is John still here? John Saga? No, all right, we'll connect later.
Hi. Name and address, please.
Yes, good evening. My name is Siobhan Burke. I live at 2333 15th Street in Troy. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I have 2 quick points to make. One is that I would encourage the council to consider making the public comment periods both be at the beginning of the meeting, because in terms of broader accessibility, I think it is a real barrier for many people, especially family people, to have to wait until after 9 p.m. to speak on matters that may not be before the council. I understand if you would want to put matters that are on the agenda in the first comment period and then have the general comment period after that. I think it would open up the opportunity for more involvement from the public, and that's always a good thing. Second, I am here with a number of other folks tonight to encourage the council to untable the sanctuary resolution and vote on it at the general meeting in April. We have heard the requests for more public education and dialogue. Many community meetings have been held at which strong support for the resolution has been the norm. And additionally, we have canvassed in South Troy after hearing concerns that there may have been strong opposition to the resolution. We wanted to find out for ourselves. So we've been going door to door for a few weekends now, and I can't give you hard, polling data, but my experience at the doors is that of the people we speak to, approximately 60 to 70% are in favor and are happy to sign the petition, and we will be presenting petitions in April. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Siobhan. Would anyone else like to address the city council? Hi, Jason.
Hi, it's Jason Harlow at 61 Pinewoods on the east side. It was super interesting hearing folks contribute about stuff, so thank you. It got me thinking about the body camera stuff or the street camera stuff, that a lot of our taxes go towards purchasing that stuff for the police officers. And also there was something a year ago, perhaps, somewhere between $10,000 and $40,000 is given to the police just for storage of data from the cameras. So I feel like it's probably an impossible ask because of laws and regulations that are in place. But a part of me wants to ask, if this much money from my taxes is being contributed for this thing, which is probably good for both the residents and the police to safeguard them and to safeguard us. Is it possible to make those records, those videos, just open to the public? It's not possible, but it sure would be nice because we pay for it. But since we can't have that available to us, it feels even more like the police are this protected circle, protecting themselves, when we all know that everybody makes mistakes. And so that we want to protect each other. I understand they're in a group and they want to protect each other from those mistakes that they make. One makes a mistake, they cover them, then they make a mistake and they get covered, and they sort of form this protective unit. It makes sense in like the way that human beings work. But I think that's what people are calling for, is to do things to mitigate that on behalf of the citizens. That's my random thought. Thanks for listening and staying here so late. Good night.
No problem, Jason. Thank you. Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Hey, Charlene.
Hi, how are you?
Isn't it past your bedtime? No, I'm kidding.
Yes, it is.
You can
Hi,
hold
Charlene
the
Dobert.
mic if you don't mind.
Charlene Dobert from Stowe Avenue in South Troy. Good evening, everybody. And I would like to say that I was happy about the idea of people being able to make payments on their back taxes, because that's a win-win as far as I can see. That would be helpful to everybody. And as far as the properties that are going to go up for sale, and I know that you're going to be adding more scrutiny to those sales. So I think it's a good lesson learned here, that we have to be mindful and really look around every corner for what deal might be good and not. And I've always favored selling the properties in Troy to Troy residents firsthand, because I believe they have the best interests of the city. They've invested here, they've lived here, whether they rent or whether they own already. They care about this city, that's why they're here. So I think that that should always be a consideration. It may not work out all the time, but I truly believe that it's a good way to look at things. And as far as the sanctuary city item, I think that that is a very difficult piece of work to expect the council to be voting on that. I think that that should be put to a vote of the people. And if it is 70% who want it, then they'll win. And if it isn't, it'll go the other way. That is the best democratic way I can think of doing something that is going to have such an impact on people in the city. Thank you.
Charlene. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Jerry Ford, resident of 313 Second Street, South Troy, District 5. Just had a quick question on our last council meeting. Messiah brought to the table, and he inquired about the building on Middleburg and 7th Avenue. Just wanted to do follow-up to see if there was anybody looked into it in regards to a community center in the North Central area.
Yeah, I'm not certain. I know it was up for sale privately. I haven't seen a sign. I don't know if Monica has any insight on that property. Do you happen to, Monica?
The last I heard, there was a contract on it, but there was an issue with the title because I think that there was a death or something in the family a while ago. So it's not anything official at this point in time or final. So I think they're still kind of working through a lot of process.
Okay, just wanted to make, okay.
They got to clean up some of the stuff on the deeds.
Just wanted to make sure that that is kept in front of, if that is a possibility, we would love to see that happen. We feel in a great deal that the North Central area has been neglected for some time now. And we want to inspire our young people and give them every opportunity to be great. And us as responsible adults need to make sure that that happens. So if we can put that on the agenda or pay a little bit more attention and actually do some hard inquiring to see if this is a possibility, it will be greatly appreciated.
Jerry, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, Bishop, yes.
One more time. Bishop Dr. Macklin, my church is at 313 Oakwood Avenue. I'm calling for more input, review and input on the sanctuary city proposal. I think that we need to have a white paper, an impact study, an environmental impact study on this. What would it do to this water and sewer systems or garbage collection, taxes, school system? What is the impact of having a sanctuary city? Because it's not explained in the former draft document.
Right.
And also I'm calling for more review time. And I agree with the young lady that came up that it would be more democratic to have the public vote on it rather than the council.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I think that the environmental impact is very important. Just to say we want sanctuary cities and not tell anybody what could possibly be the outcome, then that's not fair to the public who has to foot the bill possibly. But we've seen it around the country that it does cost money to be a sanctuary city. It costs money. And it has a great impact on the school system, on all the services that the cities offer. And so we just don't want to go into this thing blindly and say, oh, great, sanctuary cities. No, there's a cost to legislation, and you all know that. Every legislation that you promulgate costs money, one way or the other, usually the other. It adds to the cost of living in a city or town or state. So I'd like to see a white paper on that. You can start with 100 people that may come, 200, 300, 500, 1,000, 10,000. What is the impact on housing also? And I think then we can decide what we want to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council? All right, well, Frank.
I just got it. I just want to say this. Again, I'm really strong on District 2. And what I left out was very important. If anyone wants to come, we used to be Hillside North. Now we're North Central Community and Solidarity Group. And now we're in alliance with every other group. I went to a wonderful bread and breakfast and we met with a lot of people in the community and it was outstanding. So what we're going to do is every third Tuesday of the month at the Oakwood Community Center, we are going to reconvene and we're going to ask everyone who can be there to be there. Our first seminar will be given by the president of the PBA, Nick Laviano. He's going to come because we got to deal with that level of ignorance. We believe if we educate these people, then they'll understand and it'll make it greater. So this third Tuesday, Nick will be there from the PBA and we'll continue that. Next month, the third Tuesday, we're going to go with code enforcement. We're going to go with someone from code enforcement. And then the next Tuesday, we'll go with someone from Troy City. I mean, we're going to continue this thing so that we can deal with the level of ignorance, you know what I mean? And then people can know, because when you're informed, it's much better. Thank you.
Frank, real quick. Third Tuesday of every month, what time?
Third Tuesday of every month, 6:30 p.m., Oakwood Community Center.
Yep.
Okay, we'll be there. And Nick will be our first speaker, and he's the president of the PBA. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. All right. Would anyone else like to address the council? Okay, I am going to ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion, Councilmember Gully, second, Councilmember December, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Mara's opposed. She wants to stay. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you in April.